test out on our tour, basically what it said was that the higher minus number you would get, the faster your ball would start rolling, stop bouncing, skidding, and so on. And Lauren Roberts was the best on the regular tour at minus 79, and I was the best on the other tour at minus 138. They called me 4 months later, TaylorMade did, and asked me to come down at the test center, and they had a new product. Well, the new product they had was these groove faces. And I putted 3 balls, rolled 3 balls for them. The three that they recorded were 201, 166, and 202. And the little guys in white coats were just falling all over themselves. And so, well, I'm here to talk about the white, which is obviously very new. I was in TaylorMade last year. I see in the product development department, I see this white putter, and I go over and pick it up, and I get all excited because they have a dark green carpet, and I can put the putter down, and I can instantly see the faces, which is what I'm looking for. And I thought, you got to do this, because it reminded me, Nicklaus won the U.S. Open with the white fang, I think they called it. Also, George Archer was forever painting his putters white. And so, I just went nuts, and I said, well, we'll think about it. We hadn't really thought about it, but we'll think about doing it. Well, when they launched this thing, I went ecstatic. Now, when I say this thing, I'm referring to the flat white. Because number one, it takes away any glare spots on your putter. And you can see the face. Now, as you notice, all these different, he just showed you the railer has the new lines in the back to demonstrate it off. You can see them. This has like the effect of a small 2-ball. You see the same thing. All alignment aids, okay? What I'm looking at, I want to see the face. And I want to see a face that has at least 4 degrees of loft on it. Until 2 years ago, the computer at TaylorMade was telling me, like other people, I guess, 2 degrees is the maximum amount of loft you wanted on a putter. Well, that's kind of hard for me because I used Ray Cook when I started on tour, and the 2 that I used, one was 4 degrees and the other was 5. Carsten Solheim came to me in the early 70s and asked me why I used that much loft. I told him I just like seeing the faces and I can tell where my hands are. If I don't have enough loft on a putter, I'm lost. Because I want my left hand to lead, so I need the loft. Ping, within 2 months, came out with a putter that had more loft on it. Also, they rolled back the faces of the old Answer 2. Started rolling the top edge so you could see the face of it. So, what has TaylorMade done? In the years I was with Rosa, I carried the bag. I was the only player on tour that carried a Rosa bag, and Rosa was the putting one. It was this putting one. Okay, well, finally, it had all this success. Rosa is TaylorMade, which is what it should be, because the R&D behind these putters, I've known about for 6 or 7 years, and nobody else, they haven't pursued it. Well, I am having a heyday right now, because I take any model of these, as long as it's got the groove face, the pure roll technology behind it, the person's going to putt the ball better. So I guess I could go back and mention to you what I'm thinking about. I think the insert is the biggest thing I've ever seen. I love the color, and now with all these different options you have from the different Railer Ghosts now and all these different other ones, you're going to have a choice for the people to see. It's not just one line. The concept, I think, is revolutionary. I'm glad to see it, and I'm having a hoot because you're helping guys, and some of the guys who are with other staff, Mickelson, for instance, who's with Callaway, who I think would probably kill to be able to have this kind of insert on his putter, to have the roll that these can offer. So I'm tickled to death to be here. I'll be glad to answer your questions. I mean, it's phenomenal for me to see the people when you work with this technique. The number one thing is to get enough loft on a putter. I just had a winner yesterday, Suzanne Pedersen, Sunday. I mean, we've only been working a month. She played 2 tournaments. She finished 3rd in the first one and then won this one Sunday. Started with Roy McIlroy after the Masters. Worked with him in Charlotte, and it's just Andres Colsarts, who won in China, is another one that I'll work with this afternoon a little bit, and he came out to California to work. So to me, it's just been a whole lot of fun to see guys. I had 3 or 4 guys this morning to work with, and I'd just be curious to see what happens. We did the launch like this last year in Japan. A gentleman won that never won. We had a dinner, all the TaylorMade guys came to dinner. I think we had 9 different players come, and they ended up 1st and 2nd that way, which was neat. So I'm enjoying it. I'm at the twilight of my career, and I'm in the process now. I think in the end, possibly it'll be better known to be a saying something. I won 25 times and 5 majors on the 2 tours, so you know it was a hell of a ride. But I'm enjoying this. My sons and I, David and Ronnie and I, we were counting top 10s to start the year. We ended last year with 29 wins, so it was a hoot. A lot of it's got to go with, you know, I take a lot of pride in helping people with putting. I think it's an overlooked area. I don't think it's nearly as difficult as people make it out to be. But the world's certainly not a shortage of anybody that has trouble putting, I guarantee you. And it starts right at the top. I think it's probably the hardest thing for some people if they try. I think one of my biggest things that I look at is that I think it's got to be natural. A lot of us putt a lot worse now than we did when we were kids. And we get it a lot. We'll work 15, 20 minutes with somebody and they'll say, you know, that's the way I used to do it. And you just smile at them because basically what they're saying is they did know how to do it. And now all these lessons start adding up. You know, psychologists say it takes 3 weeks to make a habit. And boy, a lot of people don't wait 3 weeks to get another lesson. They just keep piling up, piling up, piling up. And you end up in the end trying to putt. And you can't. The 2 words that I don't like to use when you teach, one is the word try because I think it's feel. And the other is somebody says they hit a ball, I think it's terrible. I want to roll it. So I guess I putt with feel and I roll it rather than somebody's trying to hit it. That's a massive difference. So you have any particular questions I can answer for you?
You talked about loft on a putter, and
Yes.
especially if you have a left-hand lead.
Yes.
Can you just explain that a little bit more? Does that mean you're naturally left-handed?
No, I'm right-handed. What I say when I'm saying basically with a putter with loft, if I have no loft on it, okay, I have to set my hands back. Because let's say I have no loft and I forward press, now I'm going to drive the ball straight into the ground. Okay, so if I have loft, and that's why I use minimum of 4 degrees, all the putters I get made from me are minimum of 4 degrees. That allows me to forward press, because if I'm putting left-handed in one as a drill, okay, what I want to do is have this grip stay perpendicular as I go through, okay? I want to go through here, and I want to stay here. You're going to see a whole bunch of guys this week, they're going to finish like this. Okay, that's basically a miniature swing of a long swing. Loft's right-handed, in my opinion, with the exception of short and low chip shots and putting, which the left hand doesn't have to do a whole lot. It's like a basketball player shooting a basketball. If they shoot right-handed, okay, the right hand's doing it. But they're going to be terrible if the left hand doesn't go along for the ride. And basically what I'm teaching in putting is that I want the left hand to go along for the ride. The right hand provides the power and the feel. All the left has to do is just keep going. But it's a kick to get these guys to do that to begin with. But it starts with having loft. And again, this is where these grooves are unbelievable. Trust me, if you, well, like I told you, my numbers, two out of 3 putts are over 200. The perfect, now this is, this was in December. 6 months later, 5 months later at the Byron Nelson, which is going on this week, I went down and did a press day, and they introduced the original Spider. First one to have groove inserts. Worked with Sean O'Hare. He finished second that week using one. But Sergio came in late. Sergio's best he had ever had was a +10. Tour average was 0. With no instruction other than picking up one of these putters that had the groove face, you know, that 8 years ago, he was -50. That's 60. That's just about. I went from like 138 to 200. He's going from +10 to 50. That is a huge difference. What's that meaning is that my ball goes less than 1.25 inches and the ball's already on the ground to stay, which means I have perfect speed most of the time. Okay, and I truly believe, you ask people what's more important, line or speed. Okay, they tell you speed, and they're the same person that rams it 10 feet by or leaves it short, you know. And a lot of that comes from not having loft and getting a true roll on. So it is a big deal. I mean, you can talk about all the cosmetics, all these lines, all these aiming lines, that's fine. But boy, for me, the face of this putter with the grooves is the whole key.
How do the grooves actually work on the board? Do they actually grip it? Because there's less surface area, there's dwell time, you can manipulate it.
Well, I mean, the original one, when they first came out, you literally, and you say,